So like as I told you, we have to cover this complete training in 3 parts: start level, intermediate level, advanced level. So now we are going to initiate with the start level. Hope you all are with me. Let me come to this part. Okay. Very interesting and very important point. First, we need to understand the history of the software that we are going to learn about. Okay. So Etabs software. So let's try to understand what is the full form of this Etabs software. So Etabs is extended three-dimensional analysis of building system. So you have to remember this. What is the full form of this Etabs software? And it is actually the product of CSI, Computer Structure Incorporation. This was initially developed as a simple program by the students, those who are pursuing their masters in 1975. On later stage, it is openly released as a integrated analysis and design software in 1985. As I told you, this is the product of Computer Structure Incorporation. So this is not only the product of this CSI. There are so many other products are there and their functions are different. Their utilities are different. So Etabs software is there, CSI Safe software is there, CSI Bridge is there, Perform 3D is there, CSI Column is there. So like the use of these all different products, all softwares are different. So like if you are going to analyze and design the superstructure, so it is better to go with the Etabs software. If you are going to design the substructure foundation, so you have to use the Safe software. If you are going to design high-rise structure, which is RCC structure, so there is no option except of using this Etabs software. It is best suited for the building structure that you can read in this full form. Extended three-dimensional analysis of building system. So it is best suitable and convenient to use for the design of high-rise structure, which is RCC. No doubt, in this software, you can deal the steel structure also, composite structure also, but it is best suited for the building system, building structures, RCC structure, and high-rise structure. Most of the iconic structures of the world were analyzed and designed in this Etabs software. Out of them, the well-known structure is what Burj Dubai. That is what analyzed and designed in this Etabs software. Likewise, as I told you, most of the iconic tall structure of the world were analyzed and designed in this Etabs software. Actually, there are so many things is needed to understand, but yeah, we are going to sum up here. And there is a what different versions of this Etabs software. It might be in your knowledge. There are different versions. 2015 version is there, 2016 version is there, 2017, 18, 19. So every year they are releasing the new version. Now, it may be a question in your mind. So what is the difference between this version? If I'm using 15 version and someone is using 19 version, so that is better. I'm not better. So it is not like that. Version difference, there is a difference is there between this version, but that is not going to matter a lot. There is some difference between the operations only. If you are going to practice with the 15 version, if you are going to practice with the 22 version, so obviously updations difference will be there, but the functions will be same. And what difference will be there, I will let you know on later stage when you will come to commands and dealing with the software in detail. I will let you know what is the difference between these versions. If you are going to practice with 15 and someone is going to practice with 2021-22 version of Etabs software. So what difference, what problems will be there, I will let you know in detail. But here it is not matter a lot, that you need to remember. Got it? So whatever the version you are having, let it to be. Some of the students, what they are doing, they are worried about it. Like I'm having 15 version and I should go for the 22 version. So don't do this. Whatever version you are having, let it to be. Now, after that, we have to understand user interface of this Etabs software. And before of that, we have to understand when you are going to open this software, means how the welcome screen will be. So just see, when you are going to open the software without of internet connection, when you are going to open the software without of internet connection, so what you will be able to see here, nothing will be there on your screen because there is no internet connection. But if you are going to open the software with internet connection, so you will have this kind of welcome screen. Now let's try to understand what is the difference between. So like when you open the software, so with internet connection, this latest news will be there. When you click on this latest news, so like what actually the new developments New versions of different softwares are there. What updations are there in these CSI products? That all you can find from these latest news. And obviously, updates you will get when your system is connected with the internet. So yeah, updates will be there. Like what Etabs version is there, what 2019. When I captured this image, so latest version was 2019. When you are now, if you are going to open your software with internet connection, you will get 21 version, 20 version, whatever the update version is there, that you will be able to see here. Okay, so this is what actually is going on in the company and what new products are. Once you open this software with internet connection, so what will be there? These CSI latest news will be there. What actually is the updations are there, so that you will find from here. And if you are not going to, if you are opening the software without of internet connection, so blank will be there, nothing will be there. Right. Yes. So this is the difference that, and for this I'm talking. So latest news. So all the updates you can find from here. Then resources. When you click on these resources, so like some video, some PDF formats are there. So many things you will be able to find. That are what? User guides. When you are going to buy any gadgets, yes, sir, any item. So there is user guideline.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
User guidelines are there. Likewise, when you are going to open this software, so in these resources, here I am on the image, so I'm not able to open this. So when you click these resources, so some of the videos, some of the PDFs, you will be able to find. You can read out that, you can watch that, and you can learn from that also. So that is what yes, user guide of this Etabs software. And what product releases. So if you like to directly jump to the website of this CSI company, so you have to click on this product releases. So this will take you all to the website directly. Here on the left hand side, new model. You have to click on new model if you want to start a new project. If you would like to start a new project, you can click on this first option, new model. But if you want to open any existing model, so you have to click on this open existing model. Once you click over this open existing model, so it is asking which model you would like to open. You have to click over that. But if you are going to click over this new model, so once you click over this new model, it will take you all to the new dialog box. Okay, let me demonstrate it. See, my system is connected with the internet. That's why I'm having this welcome screen. And see here, what new update is there? Etabs 2020 version is there, new update. Okay. Now, if suppose I'm going to click over this new model. Once I'm click over this new model, so what will be there? This software will take me to this model initialization dialog box. But I'm not happy to go with this. Cancel it. Now, again, close it. Again, I'm going to open this software. Very basic thing I am trying to explain. Some of you may think that I know all these things, but yeah, it is very important for beginners, those who are looking this Etabs software first time. Okay. Now, next, new model, then open existing model. When you click over this new model, open existing model, it is asking which model you would like to open. These all are my projects. 1, 2, 3. If suppose I want to open this project, so I will click over this. I will simply click over the open. So new model will be open. First thing. Okay. This is the way. What does it mean by this recent model option? This window will tell you about like recent model. Means last time you are working on which project, that will be available here. Actually, I'm working on this fifth project last time. So like I don't need to go to this new model. I don't need to go to this open existing model. I can directly click over this recent model. So my model will be open. I can resume my work. Okay. So like suppose I am dealing any project. Now, due to some instant work, I have to close that model, that work. I have to go. Then I will come back. Again, I will open the software. When I'm going to open the software, so the last work will be here and the first. Then next to that, all the projects will be available here. So I will click over this. So my last model will be open here. Okay. Now next, on the top hand side, on the top, you will be able to see this is one. Let me show you in the image. It is called as file, edit, view, define, draw, select, assign. These all are called as top main menu bar. So many options are there. When you come to the software in top main menu bar, or suppose my system is not connected with the internet, then how I can open any existing project, how I can start a new project. So no need to worry about. if your system is not connected with internet, so obviously nothing will be there here. So go to file, go to new model. So you can start your model here. You can start your project from here. If you want to open any existing model, you have to click over this open existing model. So these two options are there. These two options are there. You can start your new project. You can open any existing model. So these two options are there. Thereafter, edit there, view is there, define is there. So it is what top main menu bar. This is called as top main menu bar. There are sub options are there. In edit, so many options are there. In view, so many options are there. In define, so many options are there. That's why it is called as top main menu bar. Then next to that, there are so many options you will be able to see here. This is called as quick access bar, and this is called as top main menu bar. Okay, so when I'm going to click over this file, and now I'm going to click over this new model. Okay, so this all top main menu bar, edit, view, define, draw will be enabled only when you are inside of the software. When you are inside of the project, when you are initiating the project, then only you will be able to use this command: edit, view, define, draw, select. So as you can find from here, so many options are there under each top main menu bar. So like I would like to open a new project, so I need to click over this new model. When you go to open a new project, new model, new work, if you are going to initiate, so model initialization dialog box you will get, and you will be able to find these three options there. These three options are there, and you need to understand what does mean by these three options in detail. So very first is what? Use saved user default setting. You have to use this what? Use saved user default settings. Okay, so what does mean by this first option? Like suppose if you are going to deal any project which is for example G plus 10 floor building. For an example, it is G plus 15 floor building. And if you are going to deal with the G plus 20 floor building, so there are so many elements will be there. There may be different sections of a column. There may be different sections of your beam. There may be different sections of your shear wall. There may be different material properties. There may be different kinds of loadings. There may be different types of load patterns. There may be different types of load cases. There may be different types of load combination, and making the definition of all these things taking hell lot of time. If you are going to deal any high-rise structure, and if you are going to define the load combination, so that load combination will be about up to 100 load combination, and defining 100 load combination at least taking 30 minutes to 1 hour. If you are going to define the load cases, material properties, section properties, it is again taking at least 30 minutes to 1 hour. So if suppose like I am going to initiate any project, every time I need to put at least 1 hour, okay, for everything, for every basic definition, for every project, I need to do the same thing. So it is effective work, tell me.
Not effective.
No.
Every time for every project, you have to like spend the 1 hour. Then the problem is what? There should be some solution for that. So that solution you will be able to find with this first option, use saved user default setting option. It means what? Software giving an option. Okay, let me explain. Will come to this Etabs software again. Now I would like to go to this project. Okay, suppose this is the project, and let's see what are the different things. These are the different material properties. These are the different sections for the slab, for the frame. There are so many sections are there. Then go to define, then load pattern. These are the different load patterns. Then go to define, then go to load combination. There are this so many number of load combinations are there. Yeah, these are the by default. But sometimes we are defining the load combination manually. So suppose this much load combination, if you are going to define manually, so it is taking a hell lot of time. So if I'm going to initiate same kind of project, like suppose it is G plus 10. Now next project I have to deal, which is G plus 12. Next project I have to deal, that is what? G plus 25. So for every project I have to spend my 1 hour every time. So that is not, I am feeling, is an effective way of working. So what I will do, software has given the option, all the basic definition of any particular project, you can take as a default definition. You can save all of them in the memory of the Etabs software as a default setting, and you can repeat it again and again for the every new project. So just look at section property, frame section. So these three sections are there. Okay, remember this. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to save this all definition of this model, basic definition of the model, in the memory of the Etabs software as a default definition. So I need to go to this option, and here the option is what? Save user default setting. Once I'm clicking over this, so all the definition where software is going to save in its memory. So save use user default setting. Once you click over this, now it is what? Saved. Default setting were successfully saved. Okay, now I'm coming to this software. Now I have to initiate the same kind of project. So what I would like to do, I need to capture all the basic settings of that project in new project. Okay, so which option I should use? Either first, second, and third?
First.
Yeah, good. Use saved user default setting. I am going to proceed with this. Let's say simply okay. So what software is doing? Software will recall all that definitions of that particular model in new model. Okay, let it to be all these things we'll talk about in detail after some time about this dialog box. Not say simply okay. Let's say okay. Now it is now inside of this project. Now tell me, we have defined any load, any material property with this project? Whether we have defined any section property for this project?
No.
Whether we have defined any load pattern for this project?
No.
Load combination for this project? Nothing we have done.
No.
But see, still see, go to define, go to load pattern. It is all are available here. Go to define, go to load combination. All that same load combinations are available here. Go to define, go to section property, go to frame section. All that section properties are available. So that is what it is, good or not? It's good. Now, next thing is what? Try to understand. Suppose this is what? RCC structure or steel structure? Tell me.
Yeah, RCC structure.
Now, see, and tell me, we have saved the definition of this model in the Etabs memory, right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Now, next time, we're going to design G+20 floor RCC building. So this definition is useful, right or wrong?
Yeah, it's useful.
Yes, it will be useful. But suppose next time I have to deal the steel structure, then tell me this definition will be useful or not?
No, it
No,
will
sir.
not useful for that.
Whatever the definition you have saved of the Etabs software, that all definition is not useful. Then what is the solution of this problem? Suppose next time I have to start a steel structure, so I need to have that basic definition of steel structure. So here the problem for me, I have saved the file of this model. So some of you may suggest that go to any steel project and save the property of steel project. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So actually in Etabs software, at a time, you can save the definition of one model only. Okay. So if suppose I'm going to open any steel project, steel structure, and if I'm going to save the definitions of this steel structure, so previous definition will be what? Discarded, will be deleted, and new definition will be updated. Then when you are again going to deal with the RCC structure, then your definition will be of steel structure. Again, you need to change it. So it is not the hectic job. Tell me.
It is hectic.
It is hectic job. Then there should be a solution for that. So yeah, software is giving the solution for that. Go to file, go to new model, say no. Yeah, when you come to this, the second option, use setting from a model file. Now you are totally free. The second option is what? Very interesting option it is. See, use setting from a model file. So it doesn't matter whether you want to proceed with the RCC, whether you want to have the definition of steel. It's your choice. If you are checking this use setting from a model file, this option, so it is asking which model definition you would like to carry for new project. So it's your choice. You can go with the RCC, you can go with for steel, you can go with any composite, your choice. Whatever the model you are selecting, suppose I would like to have the definitions of this fifth model. Say select this, say okay. So software will automatically capture all the definition of that fifth model. Yeah. Now next, third option, go to file, go to new model. The third option is what? Used in build setting with. So if you are not having any definition, if you are not having any existing model, or you want to set everything from nothing, you want to start anything from nothing, so you have to proceed with third option. Now, when you are going to use this model initialization option, so display unit option is there. So 3 display units are there, US customary, and second one is the metric SI, and third one is the metric MKS system. If you would like to work in meter, centimeter, in mm, or loading in kilonewton, so you have to go with the metric SI. If you would like to work in feet, inches, you have to work with the US customary option. So these 2 unit system normally we are using. Okay, so it all depends on your architectural plan, the unit of your architectural plan. If it is in feet and inches, so you have to go with the US customary option. If your architectural plan is in mm, or your loading is in kilonewton, so you have to go with the metric SI option. So your choice with which option of unit system you would like to proceed. But it is not the meaning that once you have decided the unit here, you can't change it on later stage. It is not like that. You can change the unit system anytime at any stage of the project. Okay, how to do that? I will let you know. Now, steel section database. Steel section database means the set of, or the the definitions of different standard sizes of steel sections of different shapes that were defined by different countries. Okay, so for the Indian country, we have to use what? Indian steel code might be in your knowledge. You might have seen steel code. So steel database. So all the definitions of steel sections, I section, channel section, L section, T sections, what are the different dimensions? If suppose I'm telling IMB of 200, so all the standard sizes of IMB 250, that will be updated in the Etabs software itself. So all the section will be updated in the software itself if you are going to define the country here. For which country you would like to consider steel section database. Now, steel design code. So based on your country, you have to decide the steel design code. So for the India, you know that the basic code for the design of steel structure is what? IS 800 2007. And what is the basic code for the design of concrete structure? So it is what? IS 456 2000. You have to check all these things and let's say simply OK. Once you click what is OK, the software will take you all to the new dialog box under the title of New Model Quick Templates. It's a very important part of discussion. Okay. Now next, grid system. Here we have to define the in-plan definition, in-plan like line out of your project, or hide the line out of your project. Means what? Try to understand. Without of having the grid lines, you will not able to prepare your model. You will not be able to prepare your structure. Grid lines means what? That is what? Just a reference lines. You need to create the reference line. Okay. So that will guide you where to take the column, where to take the beams, where to put the slab. Okay. Where to draw the joint. So that all will become easy when you are going to define the grid lines, when you are going to prepare the grid lines. Let me show you. If I'm giving this space and I'm asking to draw you are drawing there. So it is very difficult. But if I'm giving the lines, okay, reference lines, if suppose I'm giving you, and then I'm asking, draw the points and line, so that will be easy for you to create your drawing. Okay, when I'm giving some reference line, so there will be the less chances of mistakes also. So that also we are practicing in the software. We are taking the help of the grid lines. That grid lines will help us to create our model correct, to avoid the problems of error, to avoid the problems of modeling. So this is called as in-plan definition. So this is what on left hand side, grid dimension, in-plan definition. And on the right hand side, overhead definition. Like how many levels are there, how many floors are there, and what are their respective heights, that all you have to define from here. So in plan definition, you have to set from here, or height definition, you have to set from here for every new project. Okay, so this is called as what? Grid lines, and this will be what? Not clearly visible, very light, or their transparency is very, very less. So I tell you, these are the reference line. You can make it to be visible, you can make it to be invisible. Once your work gets completed, you can remove it. Once you need to have this, you will make it to be in view. Your choice. So it is called as what? Just a reference line, and called as what? Grid lines. So in Etabs software, if you like to prepare these grid lines, so there are three methods to prepare the grid lines in the Etabs software. Very first method is what? Offset point method. This is called as what? Offset point method. And second option is what? Etabs quick template method. And third one is your export and import method. These three methods are there to prepare your grid lines, and then only you can proceed for the modeling. So we will look at over height definition on later stage. First, we have to understand the methods of preparing the grid lines in the Etabs software. So offset point method is not common one. It's a general practice. Consultants are not practicing with this. It is very, very basic. Okay. But for your knowledge, I am sharing it. Second, Etabs quick template option is there. That is what? In practice, and export and import method is in practice. Now, between these two, we have to understand, one is your Etabs quick template option, and second, export and import method. See, try to understand. Etabs quick template option is effective when your architectural plan is simple. The architectural geometry is not much complicated. When your architectural geometry is not much complicated, in that way, in that situation, you can proceed with Etabs quick template option. Let me give the example. So it's very simple architectural plan. Very small and very simple architectural plan. There's no much complication. It is very simple. Simple lines are there, vertical, horizontal lines are there in plan definition. So that this is what the grids A, B, C. This is the grids 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 5. It is the grid. So these all are what? Grid lines. So it is very simple. So you can proceed with the Etabs quick template option to prepare this grid in the Etabs software. No need to worry about. Okay, it is very simple. But if suppose very complicated architectural drawing is there, very, very complicated architectural drawing, let me show you the proof for that. Look at this. It's simple architectural drawing or complicated one. But it is also but still it is the complicated one. So if you are trying to prepare the grid for this kind of project in the Etabs software itself, okay, by using Etabs quick template option, so it is very difficult. Yeah, for the simple project, it is okay. For the simple project, you can directly draw these grid lines in the Etabs software itself, and then you can proceed for the modeling. But in actual, if you are going to deal any complicated project, so there it is very difficult to prepare the grid lines in the Etabs software itself and then proceeding for the modeling. It is very difficult. So in that situation, we are looking at the third option, that is export and import option. We are preparing the grids in the Etabs center line plan in the CAD itself. We are exporting this drawing from here. We are importing that drawing in the Etabs software directly. So that's why these two options are there. When your architectural plan is simple, when your grid is very simple, then the first option is okay. Etabs quick template option means making the grids in the Etabs software itself. But if your architectural geometry is very, very complicated, in that situation, it is needed to go with the export and import method of option. But one more thing I would like to add here. Experts recommend that as much as possible, you should try to go with the creating the grids in the Etabs software itself. Why? It is because if you are going to practice with the Etabs software grids, so there will be less chances of errors. Suppose I am having this grid. Now I have to find this point. So exact point I am getting by the reference of intersection of this grid, by the reference of intersection of this grid. Suppose another grid is here, another grid is here. By the intersection of these two grid, I am getting the exact point. So there will be the less chances of my modeling error. That's why experts recommend that you should try actually to proceed with Etabs tweak template option as much as possible. But if very complicated architectural drawing is there, so yeah, there's no option. Anyhow, you have to export the drawing from the CAD and you have to import in the Etabs software. Okay, so that is the what explanation about all these three methods. First, offset point method. Offset is very basic. I will let you know what is there in offset point method. So commonly it is not in use. And second is what? Etabs quick template option is there. And third one is what? Your export and import method. These three methods are there. I'm going to clear these all. Okay, now close it. This is done. Now we will practice all of these methods one by one. Okay, one more thing. In Etabs software, what are the different codes are available? Okay, based on the country wise. So we are having this data. So I will share this file with you all. Okay, so you can see that what are the different codes, country wise database, RCC codes available in Etabs software. So all this American code is there, British code is there, Canadian code is there, European code is there, Hong Kong code is there, Indian code, Italian code, Korean, Mexico. That denotes for which country this particular code is. Country-wise database still codes. So all these codes are there. Country-wise database still section code that all are available here. So you can find it from here. I will share this file so you can read it. Thereafter, unit system. So as I told you, there are three unit system. US default option is there. Metric SI option is there. So if you are going to work with metric SI, so distances we are considering feet, inches, and length, area, and loading we are considering kips. Okay, we are consider the loading. But when you come to use metric SI, so distances were measured in centimeter, okay, or meter. And when you come to the force unit, so the force in kilonewton. So you can see this file and you can understand what is actually given there. Now I have to prepare this grid by the offset point method. So like in offset point method, very simple it is. We are going to draw one base point. With a reference of this base point, we are going to take the another point. Then with the reference of this base point, we are going to take the third point. With the reference of this base point, we are going to create the fourth point. With the reference of this first, I am going to take the another point here, then another point here, then another point here. Okay, so next to next, all these points we are going to take. Okay, so this is called as offset point method. So just go to clear and then clear this all. Just come back to your Etabs. And no, I don't want to model any grid by using this Etabs quick template option. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click over this blank. Even I'm not willing to practice so over the height definition. So let it to be as it is. We will come to this part later. Click over this blank. Let's say simply OK. Once you click over this OK button, the software will take you inside of these two views will be there, left and right. On the left hand side, there is the plan view. On the right hand side, it is the 3D view. If you want to short this window, you can short it. If you want to increase the size of this window, you can increase it. If you want to close this window, 3D view, close it. Only the plan view will be there. If you want to add one more window, so just click over this drop down, add a new window. So it is what 3D view. This is what your plan view. Now I would like to close this 3D view. This is only your plan view. Okay. Now I would like to work on this plan view only. So go to plan and come to this first. Everything I will explain. Okay. Now here I am on the first floor. Story first. I am at the first floor. Now I have to draw these points here. It is what the ordinate of this point is 0, 0. So I need to go to these Etabs, go to draw, and here the option is what? Draw joint object. I would like to draw the joint object, click over that. Now it is asking about the ordinate of that joint. So it is what is the base point I am going to consider. Click anywhere, so that point will be modeled here. Is it what? Drawn here. The point is now available. Now next point, it is at a distance of 2 meters from the base point. in X direction. So it is in meter. In mm, how much it will become? So go to draw joint and point, and it is what? 2000 in X direction. 2000. See, it is asking in mm, not in meter. 2000. Now close it. Click over this first. Now it is what? 2000 distance is there. Now next, go to draw. Okay, coming back to your this grid. Next point is at a what distance it is?
4600 mm.
2600. But from the reference of this second point, if you are considering from the base, how much it will be?
4600 mm.
4600. So I will have take from the reference of this. So go to draw point, and it will be 4600. Now, being this window to be present, just click over this. Now the third point has been drawn here. Now come to the next, this fourth point, which is at a distance of 9.1 meter from this base and 4.5 meter from this. So now at this time, I'm going to take the reference of this point. So it is what? 4500.
500. Yeah.
So go back to your Etabs. It will be 4500. Now from the reference of this, now the fourth point has been taken here. Now all the point has been drawn. Now next, in y direction, all these points at a distance of at an offset distance of 2.8 meter. So go back to your Etabs, go to draw point and joint at an offset distance of in y direction 2800 mm. Now click on this first. It is what? Present here. Click on this first. It is not present here. Click on this. Now it's present here. Click on this. Now it is present here. Similarly, in y direction, what is there? This is what? 3.1 meter. How much it will become? 3100. Now come to this. This is the one, and not this one. Okay. Now these all are now available here. Now close it. So can you tell me, these are the grid lines?
It is points only.
It is the points. So how you can call it as grid? Are you getting my point? So you can't tell it to grid. It is basically, it is all, these all are the joints. Okay. So you need to go to draw, and now here the option is what? Draw grids. The option is what? Draw grids. Click over that, and now close it. Now from this point to, starting from here, coming to this point, then click here. Now it is giving the label to this grid as what? Grid first. From here to here, it is grid 2. From here to here, it is grid 3. If I'm moving from right to left, it is giving the label to the grid. Undo this all. If I'm moving left to right, from this point to this, it is giving what? Grid 1. If I'm moving from this point to this, it is giving the label to this as grid 2. If I'm moving from right to left, it is giving the label to the grid as 3. Understood? So this is the way you need to understand. Undo this, undo this. Okay. So this is what the procedure, how you can draw the grids over the points. First point, this is the grid. From here, this is the grid. You have to click on this first point. You have to freely move to this point, and then click over this. This is the third point. So these are the three grids. This is the first, moving to this. Fourth, moving to this from here to here. Fifth, from here moving to this. Sixth, from here moving to this. 7. Understood? Hello.
Yes,
Now
sir.
I can call to these all are actually your grids. So this is the way how you can draw the grids by using offset point method. So you have to remember this. What is the use of this offset point method? So previously that we have done, that it was only the join. Unless until you are not drawing these grid. So you can't say that it is the grid lines, right? This is the way. So in this way, you have to prepare the grids by offset point method. This is the first. Now second is what? Using the Etabs quick template option. So we have to create this grid. So this is called as what? A uniform grid system. if I'm going to practice to create these grids by using offset point method, so it is very time consuming or not? It is time consuming. So what we are going to look at the second option, Etabs quick template option. So first try to understand there are two types of the grids, Cartesian type of the grid and cylindrical grid. So the grid system which is having the grids in the Cartesian directions X and Y, we are going to call it as Cartesian form of the grid. If your grid is what having the curve, there is what cylindrical grid. So in Cartesian form, there are two types, uniform grid system, non-uniform grid system. Means if the distances between the two grids are same, we are going to call it as what?
Uniform grid system.
Uniform grid system. If the distances between the two grids are not same, we are going to call it as non-uniform grid system.
Grid system.
So you should answer which type of this grid system, either uniform or non-uniform. It is what? It is uniform grid system. Very good. Just come to your Etabs. Okay, this is all done. Go to file. So as I told you, it is not much common way of preparing the grid. Okay, so the second Etabs quick template option is the most common one. Go to file, go to new model, just say no. Okay, when you open a new project, so this dialog box will open up. You have to go with the third option, and which unit system you have to use, either feet and inches. For feet and inches, you have to go with US customary. For meter or centimeter in mm, you have to proceed with a metric SI. So first you need to check your grid system in which unit it is. Tell me. So I need to go back to Etabs, metric SI, Indian. Rest of all things keep as it is. You don't need to change it. Go to OK. And with this very interesting part we are going to cover here. So like tell me, how many grids are there in X direction? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 grid systems are there in X direction. And unfortunately, we are having 6 grids in Y direction also. So come back to your Etabs. So number of grid lines in X direction, I am going to put as 6. Number of grid lines in Y direction, I am going to put here as 6. Both are 6. Spacing of grids in X direction. What is the spacing in X direction? Tell me. 3 meter. And in Y direction, 5 meter. But one thing you have to remember here, spacing of grids in X direction as 3 meter and spacing of in Y direction as it is 5 meter. This is all done. Okay. Now grid labels. Once you click on this grid label, so try to understand, by default, software will give the labeling to all the grids in X direction as alphabetical labeling, starting from A up to Z, A, B, C, D, right? So that you can find from here also. Same way I have followed. See, A, B, C, D, E, F. So in X direction, what software is doing, in X direction, software giving the label to all the grids as A, B, C, D. But for Y direction, by default, software is giving the labeling to the grids as 1, 2, 3, 4. But one thing you have to notice here, the labeling is not top to down. Labeling is what? From bottom to top. And for X direction, labeling will be from left to right. Okay. So go to Etabs. See, X direction A, label left to right by default. For Y direction, numbering is there from bottom to top. But software has given the option. If you would like to change, you can change it. Right to left or top to bottom. So tell me whether you would like to change it or you would like to go with the default setting. Let it to be, doesn't matter. Let's say, okay, this is done. So in this way, you have to understand it. What does mean by this custom grid spacing? I will come to that point later. Okay. So this is what for the uniform spacing, you have to go with this. And for uniform grid system, it is enough if you are proceeding with uniform grid spacing option. This is what over height definition. So I will explain these all points in a very detailed way, but right now I'm not going to explain it. Here first we have to understand the in-plant definition. Okay, I will talk in detail about over height definition later. So total number of stories are what? I'm going to put here as 5 directly. There is a detailed explanation beyond it. I will let you know later. Typical story height, very interesting topic it is. So, but I'm going to put here as 3. What actually has given same value. Bottom story height, very interesting part it is to understand. But here I'm going to put what actually has given. This is all done. And rest of all this I would like to keep as it is. Now tell me whether you would like to go with blank or with the grids. So now at this time we have to check this grid. If you are taking blank, so nothing will be there. If you are taking this grid, as per your definition, grids will be there. Let's say simply OK. Once you click over this OK button, so now your grid is automatically is having in front of you. Last time
Yes, sir.
we have taken a lot of effort. One point, then drawing of grids. So that is what, that one is the easiest one, or this one is the easiest one. How smartly you can prepare your grids with this option, you can understand. So your grids is now ready. You can proceed for the model. Okay. But if suppose, okay, like after having my grids, I feel that it is not clearly visible. I have to increase the visibility of this grid. So what? Go to edit. Go to edit story and grid system. Once you click over this, and it is what over height definition. So I'm not interested to make any change over the height definition. I'm interested to change the in-plant definition. So go to modify, show grid system. Once you click over this, so now this dialog box will open, and now the grid. I would like to increase the visibility of this grid. So take it and let's say OK. Let's say OK. Once you click over the OK, then say OK. Now see, the visibility has been improved or not. Now suppose I'm not interested with the color of this grid. I would like to change the color of this grid to red. You go to edit story and grid system. Go to modify. I would like to change the color from black to this red. Okay. Say OK. Say OK. Now this is what changed. Now suppose I'm not okay with the sizes of these bubbles. I have to change this bubble size. Go to edit story grid system. Go to modify this again. It is what I would like to make it as what 1000 only. Let's say okay. Okay. It is not short. So any modification, I would like to express that how you can do the modification in your existing grid for the in-plant definition. So go to edit story grid system. For the in-plant definition modification of the grids, you can proceed with here. Okay, suppose I would like to rotate this existing grid by the 30 degree. So put this 30 degree here, rotation, say okay, say okay. If suppose I want to change the color from red to blue, that you can do. If you want to change the bubble size, that you can do. If you want to change the orientation, that you can do. If you want to shift this complete grid from its origin, this grid is what at the origin. I want to shift this grid with the same inclination by the 10 meter in X direction. So go to edit story grid system, go to modify. Ordinate is what 0, 0. So for X direction, how much? 10 meter in X direction. Let's say okay. Let's say okay. Now your ordinate, your axis origin is here. Your axis is shifted by 10 meter in X direction. This is the first uniform grid system. Now second grid we have to draw here. That is what non-uniform grid system. Go back to your Etabs. Go to file. Go to new model. So it is asking to save this model. Say no. I'm not interested to save this. Now with this I need to go with this third. I need to look at what unit system is there. So it is metric SI. In meter, all these dimensions are. So metric SI, rest of all things will be as it is. Let's say simply okay. Now, in this new model quick templates, I have to define the in-plant definition. Come to this. How many grids are there in X direction? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? In Y direction, how many grids are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grids are there. It is uniform, non-uniform?
Non-uniform.
It is non-uniform. Why it is non-uniform? Because the distances between the two grids are not same. That's why we are going to. So when you come to these tabs, tell me, is there any use of this uniform grid spacing option?
No.
No, sir.
No use. I need to go with what? Custom. Right? Yes. Go to custom grid spacing. Go to edit grid data option. Once you click over this edit grid data option, so this new dialog box with some modification will be open in front of you. Okay, there you will be able to find two options: display grid data as ordinate display grid data as spacing. What will happen if you are going to proceed with this display grid data as ordinate? In this case, you have to consider one grid as an origin grid for the x direction. For y direction, you have to consider one grid as origin. And with reference of this origin, all other grid dimensions you have to put. Okay, how to do? Try to understand. Okay, A to B in reference of A, how much it is? 4.5. It is what? A
Yes,
is
sir,
what?
A is
0. You have to put like B is at a distance of 4.5 from the reference of A. So for the B, we have to put what? Hello?
4.5 meter.
Yes, sir.
4.5. Okay. Done. Accordingly, the modification you can observe here. Come back. C at a distance of what? 4.5 plus 6.6 from the reference of this A grid. How much it is totally? You need to add these two values. So you will get what? 11.1. 11.1. Now, D from the reference of A is at a distance of what? Yeah, D. Sorry, D.
11.1.
No, D. D at a distance of what?
16.1.
16.1.
16.1. I need to put here as 16.1. 16.1. Okay. But see, how many grids are there? 7. E, F, G. So add it. Add E, F, G. Okay. Now, first is correct. Second is D. Now E. E at a distance of what? These all values you have to add. Then you will get the final value is what? 19.6. So every
19.6.
time, every distances you have to add. Come back to your Etabs. How much it is?
19.6.
19.6.
19.6. And next, F
26.1.
from the reference of A, how much it is? 26.1.
31.1.
Correct, correct.
And last one is what? G.
31.1, that also correct.
G is what? At a
13.
distance of
31.1.
31.1. Okay. Next, for this, for Y direction, how many grids are there? Yeah. 3.5, 4. First will be 0. Second, 3.5. 3.5 plus 4. How much will be?
7.5.
7.5.
7.5.
7.5.
Okay. Then for this,
11 point something.
11. Put it as 11. I need to
11.
add it. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Now, fifth point is what? 16.
16.
Every time you actually here it is given. I have already taken this addition. That's why it is easy. But if I'm giving only this dimension, every time you have to take your calc, you have to add this value. Okay. So remember that point. Now this is done. My grid is not ready. Suppose I'm giving a condition. There is 1,000 number of grids in X direction. In Y direction, there is 2,000 grids. Tell me how much time you need to have to complete that grid. It is possible to do manually.
It is not possible.
Okay, suppose 1,000 grids are there and 2,000 grids in Y direction, and in X direction, repetitive spacing that we are calling typical spacing. See here, for X direction, is there any typical spacing?
No, sir.
Yes, it is there.
5
Okay.
meter.
One uniform spacing, typical
5
spacing.
meters.
Typical spacing means the spacing which is repetitive. 5 meter
5
here,
meter.
5 meter. Two grids are of same spacing. Hello.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
This is
Okay,
called as typical spacing.
Achha,
Okay.
okay.
For
Yes,
Y direction, it is 3.5, 3.5. It is typical spacing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what condition I'm trying to give you? 1,000 grids in X direction, 2,000 grids in Y direction. So you said it is very difficult. Again, the spacing like suppose 5 meter is 200 times and 3.5 meter for Y direction, it is 600 times. So repetitive spacings are there, and number of spacing is very large. So it is very, very complicated to draw that kind of grids. Then what? We need to have some solution for that. Okay, I will come to that point later. But before of that, the second option we have to understand, display grid data as spacing. So once you check this option, with this option, you don't need to add every single grid spacing. In this option, you just have to find what is the distance between A to B. In reference of A, it is 4.5. So I have to put 4.5. Okay. Then for B to B, in reference of B, I have to put this distance 6.6 only. So 6.6. The distance between C to D, in reference of C, you have to put 5. Are you getting my point? So this is what individual spacing you have to put here. So tell me, this first option is effective or second option is effective?
Second option is effective.
Now, come to the problem that I have raised. Suppose 1000 grids are there in X direction, 2000 grids are in Y direction. Okay, so what to do for that? So in that situation, the solution is there. We are going to take the help of uniform grid spacing option. Define
Yes, sir.
1000 here and number of grids in Y. How many?
2000.
2000.
2000. Typical spacing, let's consider this example. Typical spacing is what? X direction 5 meter, Y direction 3.5 meter.
3.5 meter.
Now, with this definition, I need to go with this custom. See, this is not the solution because other grids are of a different spacing, right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
So anyhow, I need to go with this custom grid, but I will take the help of this uniform, go to custom, now go to edit. See, 1000 grids are already here updated. 2000 grids here, it is what already updated. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I will go with this edit grid data. So all typical spacings are there. I will take the help. So only change value I'm going to change. Suppose here 3.5. Now I will find. Suppose I will find. This is what. Okay, go to this. This is the only change. So I will make it as what? 4. Now I will come to this. This is only what I'm going to make it as 6. Now come to this, I will make it as what? 7. Okay, like that for the selected grid spacing, I'm going to edit here. For rest of others, I don't need to change. So that is what advantage of taking the help of uniform grid spacing option. Number of grids in X direction. Tell me how many grids are there in X direction?
The 7 grids.
So would you like to take the help of this uniform grid spacing or not option?
Yes, with custom grid spacing also.
Check how many grids are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 number of grids are there. 7. Number of grids in Y direction, tell me. 5. So I'm going to put here as 5. Now, spacing of grids in X direction, typical spacing 5. In Y direction, 3.5. Okay. Go to custom. Okay. If I'm proceeding with uniform grid spacing, so that is what the solution for my problem.
No.
Anyhow, I need to go with this custom grid spacing. So
Yes.
go to this custom grid spacing, go to display grid data, and here I need to put what? A to B in reference of A, it is 4.5. B to C in reference of B, it is 6.6. C to D in reference of C, how much it is? 5. D to E in reference of D, 3.5. E to F in reference of E, 6.5. F to G in reference of F, 5. And G to next in reference of G, what will be there?
0.
0. Okay, so that is what? 0. So it is not the meaning to delete it.
Oh.
Okay, it will be there. Now come to Y direction. 1 to 2 in reference of 1, how much it is?
3.5.
2 to 3 in reference of 2,
4 meter.
4. 3 to 4 in reference of 3,
7, 3.5.
3. 4 to 5 in reference of 4,
5 meter.
5 meter. Got it? Now this is all done. And I would like to change the bubble size to 1000 and some grid color, dark color I would like to have. Say okay. This is all done. Let's say simply okay. Okay. In plant definitions, we have defined to the software over height definition. in overheight definition, a total number of stories how much? 10. Number of stories how much? 10. Typical story height is what? 3.3. Bottom story height is what? 2.5. But I would like to make some modification over the height definition. I am not clear about number of stories and all. So I need to go to this custom, go to edit story data, over height definition.
Okay.
Okay. If you
Yes,
want modification in over height definition, go to edit story data. Okay. So it is what base. I would like to make that as first. I would like, okay, what is there? Yeah, it is plinth or oblique ground. So I would like to make that as plinth oblique ground, right? You can change like that. Then it is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8. It is what? 9. Like that, it is the height of individual stories. Each individual stories, these are total cumulative heights. Okay, from base to plinth 2.5 meter, from plinth to first 3.3 meter. Okay, I will talk in detail about these all things on later stage. Here I just want to express how to edit these things. Okay, so over height
Yes, sir.
definition you can edit from here. Understood or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I want to have the grids. So click over this grid. Let's say simply okay. Once you click over these grids, so now definition is available here. Your grid lines now available here. Again, if you want to do any modification, go to editor, go to edit story definition. Over the plan definition, if you want to change, over the grid definition you want to change. Okay, so go to modify this grid system, and like suppose I want to change the color to this red. Let's say okay, I want to change the rotation by 30 degree. Change it to 30 degree. Okay, if you would like to increase the bubble size 1500, let's say all done. Okay, okay, this is all done. So like in this way, you can edit the existing grid system. Got it? So in this way, you can draw the grids by using offset point method and by using Etabs quick template option. So these 2 points we have covered here. Now in the next session, we will see how to draw the grids, which is of cylindrical form. I will let you know how to draw this grid system that we will see in the next session. So this is what the third type of grid system, and this is the cylindrical grid system. We have to draw this grid system in the Etabs software. So how to do that? We are trying to understand. So first go to your Etabs, and you need to go to file option. Once you go to this file option, you have to click over the new model, new structure. Just click over that. Once you click over this, so we had a detailed discussion about this model initialization. You need to go to this third option, and first you need to decide the display unit system. So what display unit system it is? It is metric SI or US customary? Yes, it is metric SI. So I need to go to Etabs metric SI because it is in meter. If it is in mm, in that case also you have to go with the metric SI. If your drawing is in feet and inches, then you have to go with the US customary option. Okay, the first option. Got it? Rest of all things will be as it is. If you are going to design your structure for the India, okay, let's say simply okay. Now this dialog box will come, and here you know very well what does mean by this uniform grid spacing. What is the application of this custom grid spacing? But I would like to ask a question. It will be possible for me to draw the cylindrical grid with this option? No, because it is what the grid is for the Cartesian format. This grid is for the purpose of Cartesian format. That is what in X direction, Y direction only. But my drawing is not in X and not in Y. It is cylindrical grid system. So these all options are not useful. Okay, this is what the overheight definition. So I can't do anything here. Then what I need to do, I need to go with the blank option. Check this blank and let's say simply okay. So it is what the blank, nothing is there. I need to close this model explorer. This is the window is called as model explorer. Right now it is not needed to have. I will let you know later what is the application of it. Now close it. Okay, so two windows is there, 3D view, and this is what the plan view. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to short this window. Okay, Then go to edit story and grid system. Just click over that. With this, go to modify and show grid system. So it is what existing grid, and you know that in existing grid system we have not taken any grid. That's why it is what blank is there. So let it to be as it is. So our problem is not going to be solved with this edit option, because it is the Cartesian format. So what I need to do here what, make it to be cancel and just say add a new grid system. So it is what blank grid system. I would like to add one more a new system here, grid system. Click over this. Once you click over this, two options you will be able to see. One is your Cartesian format, another one is your cylindrical format. Then you have to click over this cylindrical format. Just go to this cylindrical option, and in this cylindrical option, with this cylindrical option, you can draw the cylindrical grid system. Now, two directions are there as similar to that of your Cartesian. Here also in cylindrical also there is a two direction. One is your radial direction, another one is your tangential direction. So this pink is your tangential direction and this is what your radial direction. So two directions are there. So along radial direction, how many lines are there? You have to count it from center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it is what? 6 grids are there. Now, and in tangential direction, how many grids are? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So counting like this is very difficult. So how you can find out the number of what tangential direction? So total angle you have to find out. You have to find out the total angle. What is the total angle? It is 180 degree divided by unit angle between the two tangential line. It is what? 9 plus 1 more. So this will give you total number of tangential grids. How many it will be? 21. So number of grids in radial direction is 6. Number of grids in tangential direction is 21. Okay. Spacing of all the grids in radial direction is 4 meter. Got it? So I need to put all this data to your Etabs software. Go back to your Etabs. Now, first grid label. So Etabs software, what it's doing, giving the center point as label to the grids in radial direction by the alphabetical order, and in tangential direction it is giving the label to all the tangential lines as numbers from left to right, clockwise direction, from left to right in clockwise direction. And for the radial it is giving outside, from the center outside. So when you go to this Etabs software, so first grid label, it is giving what? 8, and labeling direction away from the center. If you would like to make it as toward the center, that you can do. Now, first grid label is what? Outside, means grid label is given as A and labeling is away from the center. Remember. Now, for the tangential direction, it will be numbering 1, or it is a clockwise direction. If you want to make it as counterclock, means anti-clock, that also you can do. Your choice. But I'm not going to change this by default labeling option. Let it to be. Now, here what? Positioning of your grid. So right now, I'm not going to do anything here. Let it to be as it is. Number of grid lines in radial direction, we have seen that it is 6. Number of grid lines in tangential direction, it is what? 21. And spacing of grids in radial direction, we know that it is a 4 meter. Spacing of the grids in tangential direction or spacing of tangential line, how much it is? It is in degree. What angle is there? 9 degree between the two lines, between the two tangential line. Okay. Now this is all done. You have to simply say okay. Once you've done this, one more grid system here it is added, and let's say simply click on OK. Now see, your grid is now available here. So if you would like to edit this existing grid system, you need to go to edit and go to edit story and grid system. And the second option, just go to modify this grid system. Now, this dialog box is now available in front of you. I would like to change the color to some dark. Take this dark color. Let's say OK. And again say OK. Then say OK. This is done. The grid system here is now updated. Thereafter, go to editor. Go to edit story and grid system. Go to the second one. Go to modify this. Now, I would like to rotate my existing grid system by 45 degree. Say 45. OK. Let's say OK. This is done. It is what? Rotated by 45 degree. If you would like to shift this grid system by the 5 meter in x direction, your center is at the origin. I would like to shift it in x direction. Go to edit story and grid system. Go to second one, go to modify, and in x direction, make it to be 5 meter. Say okay, say okay. Now, in this way, you can edit the existing grid system. Got it? So it's very, very simple and very interesting it is. Now, if you want to change the color, go to edit story and grid system, go to this option, go to modify, and make it to be what? A red color. Change it to red, say okay. I would like to change this bubble size to 2000. I want to increase it, say okay, say okay. This is done. So in this way, you can edit the existing grid system. Very basic it is. Okay. Now, the next grid system we have to look at, and that we have to try to draw in the Etabs software. This is the grid system. Can anyone tell me what type of this grid system is?
Cartesian and cylindrical.
Yeah, exactly. So here both the grid system is actually available. Your Cartesian and cylindrical. Now, when you come inside of this Cartesian, so in Cartesian, non-uniform type of grid system it is. Okay, if the spacing are same in one direction, so then we will call it as what? Uniform grid system, and it is what? Cartesian, and it is the cylindrical. Okay, so this grid system we have to draw. So just go to Etabs, go to file. Can you give me an idea how we can draw it? Actually, it is not completely Cartesian, it is not completely cylindrical. Then what? Can anyone guide me? Yeah, it will be metric SI, rest of all things will be as it is. Let's just simply okay. Now tell me what actually have to do. First, we will draw the Cartesian. Then once Cartesian is prepared here, we will set the Cartesian format. Then we will add one more grid as cylindrical that we did in the last case. Okay, so it's very simple. Okay, fast tell me how many grids in x direction? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Total number of grids in x direction is what? Totally 8. So go back to your Etabs, and in x direction it is number 8. For y direction, how many it is? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? How many? 4. And spacing in x direction, is there any typical spacing?
No.
No. In y direction, is there any typical spacing? No, there is no any typical spacing in x direction, in y direction. Let it to be as it is. Go to custom grid spacing, go to edit grid data, click over that. Then we have to proceed with the second option, display grid data as spacing option. Now here I have to edit the spacing individual. A to B means first to second in reference of this first. How much it is? 5.9. Yes, 5.9 it is. Now next 10.2. 10.2, next 9.6, 9.6, next 5.3, 6.2, 5.3, 6.2, 9.1, 3.9, 9.1, 3.9, done. So this is the way. Now come to this side, 4.9, 5.8, 4.9, 5.8 and 4.6. Very good. 4.6. So accordingly, in this short window, you can see what you have edited these things that you can find from here. Now next, bubble side, I would like to make it as what? 1500. If you are keeping same, that also will be okay. No, you need to worry about. Now next, say simply okay. And we are not going to change overheight definition. Let it to be as it is. I need to have this grid. Check this option. Let's say okay. Once you click over this OK button, close the 3D view. Now plan view. So if it is what not clearly visible, then go to edit story and grid system, go to modify, go to this, just take dark color. Let's say okay, okay, okay. This is done. Okay. Now what next? We need to add one more grid system. That is what? The cylindrical one. So go to edit story grid system, and go to add a new grid system. Once you click over this add a new grid system, now Cartesian cylindrical, we want to make it as cylindrical. Check this option, and here tell me first, how many number of lines in radial direction? 1, center, 2, 3, 4, 5, and
6.
6. Very good. In the radial direction. In tangential direction, unit angle is what? 18 degree. Now tell me how many number of tangential lines? 180 divided by unit angle. So this is what? 18. So 18, it will become 10. So 10 plus additional 1 will be there. So it is going to become 11 number of grids in tangential direction and 6 number of grids in your radial direction. Plus spacing of the radial direction is 2 meter. Spacing of the tangential direction means this degree is 18 degrees there between the two tangential direction. Okay.
Sir, yes.
Now, see, we have to model this cylindrical grid system after completion of Cartesian grid. So go back to your Etabs. Now, clear this all. Total number of grid lines in radial direction, we have seen that it is what? 6. Thereafter, number of grid lines in tangential direction, it is what? Total number as 11. Spacing of the grids in radial direction, how much it is? Is 2 meter. Spacing of grids in tangential direction, it is 18 degree. This is done. Let's say simply okay. Let's say okay. Once you click over this OK button, so your grid is going to be drawn here. It is coming here. So tell me, is it right or wrong? How I can take this cylindrical grid? How I can take this center point from here to here, somewhere here? Okay, that where is specified in your drawing. How you can do that? So go back to your drawing and see. So like this center point is somewhere in between of this LM, or in Etabs software, it is in between FG. So how I can see? So first, this is the origin. This is what your 0, 0. This is what your 0, 0. So y distance is how much? Tell me. The addition of this 4.9, 5.8, 4.6. Do it and let me know what is the total value. 15.3. Now, next to this x, this I need to have. How I can get this? So first, count the total this distance. Add this total distance and subtract this distance from this total distance. So you will get this x ordinate. How? Add this total and minus 2 plus 2 plus 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, 5. This total.
It will come out to be 40.2.
40.2 minus 10.
40.2. No. 2 minus 10 is 40.2.
Very good, very good. Means it is actually 50.2, right? It is going to become, no, it is wrong. It is 40.2. Very good. So x ordinate is what? 40.2. Y ordinate is what? 15.3. So this we have to put in our Etabs software. So your cylindrical grid is going to be shifted from here to here. Okay. So we will see it. Come to your Etabs and go to editor. Go to edit historian grid system. The second grid, go to modify this grid system, and I have to shift this. So x ordinate is what? 40.2 and y ordinate is actually 15.3. Then let's say simply, or I will have to change the color also. So I can identify. Okay. Then say okay. Now it's right or wrong. So this is actually the way how you can draw this cylindrical grid, how you can draw the Cartesian grid, how you can draw the grid system which is having both of the type, Cartesian as well as cylindrical. So this is all the way how you can create the grids by using the Etabs templates to prepare the grids in the Etabs software itself. Okay, so this is the first method we have completed, and this is the one of the most commonly used method while initiating any project. This is the very first step. Without of having the grid lines, you can't proceed for the modeling, analysis, design, scheduling, and detailing. Some of you may think that, oh, I think that I will learn how to model, how to design, analysis, and all. Okay, so it is not like a first try to understand the software and go with step by step. Okay, so very first step is what? Understanding the grid system. So in this way, you have to prepare your grids. Once you completed your grids, then you have to proceed for the modeling, analysis, design. So if your grid is wrong, your modeling is wrong. Your modeling is wrong, your analysis is wrong. If your analysis is wrong, then your design, schedule, detail, everything will be wrong. So your model should be 100% correct, and your model correctness is depends on the correctness of your grades. So this is the first thing. Now move to the second, export and import method of creating the grid lines. As I told you in the last session, if your architectural plan is very much complicated, in that case, preparing the grid lines in the Etabs software is very difficult. But there is an option to solve that problem. Is what? Preparing the center line in the CAD, and that center line we are going to import in the Etabs software. Then we can proceed for the modeling. So it is the export and import method of having the grids or having the reference line in the Etabs software. What is the procedure? You need to understand that. So this is what called as a structural framing plan. After having this structural framing plan, you need to have the center line plan. So this is called as center line plan. What does mean by the structural framing plan? How we are drawing this structural framing plan? Then how we are taking the center line? So that all I will let you know later. That we will see in the real project. Okay. So you can understand everything. But here right now, our objective is to understand how to export the drawing and how to import that drawing in the Etabs software. Okay. So, or for better understanding of how to prepare the center line and all, export and import method, everything, I have prepared a video. I have uploaded a video on our YouTube channel. So on our YouTube channel, you can find the video. Otherwise, I will share it. So you can find that video. Okay. So there are, you can all understand what does your structural framing plan, how to draw the center line in more better way. But okay, forget that. Just come here. We have to understand how to export it and then how to import in the Etabs software. So very first thing you have to do, you have to save this drawing, this center line in a new file of the CAD, and that file you have to save in DXF file format. Okay, tell me, if you are going to save this AutoCAD file, so what will the file format? Can anyone tell me? DWG file format is there. But when you are going to import that DWG file format, that will not work. To import in Etabs software, you need to have .dxf file format. So for that, you need to take this drawing in new file of the CAD, and that you have to save in .dxf file format. And in that drawing, there should be only center line, nothing else. So what I would like to do, clear this all. I would like to select this all thing. Select all of this, press Ctrl C, copy. Now go and open the CAD file, CAD software. Now close it. Okay. Now here say Ctrl V. So like here the option you can put anywhere, but I want to have this drawing at this origin X and Y. So I would like to press ordinate, specify insertion point where you want to insert this drawing with a reference to this point where my cursor is. Okay, so I would like to take it as 0, 0 level. So 0, 0, say enter. So your drawing will come to the origin. You have to save this file in DXF file format. Now go to save as. I would like to save this. Here I would like to save CAD DXF. Rename CAD DXF file. Okay, this the file format should be what? DXF. Change it to DXF. Now simply save this file in DXF file format. Now it is done. But one thing I would like to mention here, see, this all center line should be in one layer. If you are not knowing about the layer, the concept of layer in Etabs software, that you need to know. Okay, search on YouTube and try to understand the concept of layer. Many of you are not aware with the concept of layer or importance of this layer in CAD software. Okay, so this all center line should be in one layer, and you need to know what is the layer name. So what is the name of this layer? Center line. First thing. And second thing, you need to know the distance between this line from this point to this point, how much it is. Yeah, it is 3.3435. It is in meter. Now close it. This is done. I have saved this file in DXF file format. Now close it. It is asking to save in DWG file also. I don't want to save in DWG file format. Say no. Come to your Etabs and go to file, go to new model, say, no, I don't want to save this model. Okay, tell me, it is in meter or in mm?
Meters.
So go to use built-in setting with metric SI, rest of all things will be as it is. Let's say simply okay. Now, I need to work on this grid or not? No, we are not interested to draw the grids in Etabs software. So go to blank. If you want to edit any overheight definition, so that you can set. But right now we are not worry about what is the height and all. Our concern is only the in-plan definition and grids. So we are not going to discuss it here. Just click over this blank and let's say simply okay. Once you click over this OK button, these two view will be there, 3D and plan view. I would like to short this 3D view, and this is what my plan view. And see, first thing I would like to show you, when you go to this plan, how many levels are there? This is the foundation level. This is the first, second, third, and fourth. How many levels are there? Four. So I would like to come at the first level, say apply, close it. And now you are at what level? You can see from here, story first. Okay. What is the height of this level from the foundation? It is 3 meters and all. So it is what we are at the first level. Okay. 4 levels are there. Remember, how many levels? 4. Now go to file, go to import. In import, the option is there, .dxf file of floor plans. Once you click over this, then go to your folder where you save this file in CAD. See, DXF file is, and open this. Now tell me, what is the unit of that grid system? Meter. So here you have to choose the meter, centimeter, mm, feet, inches, everything is there. So you need to know in which unit your system is. So it is in meter. Now we want to take all these lines as a beam. So I would like to take these beams as center line. I don't want to have this column. I don't need to have the floor. These all things, no need to check it. Default properties. If you want to assign, see, all these lines is going to be converted to what? Hello. So if you want to assign any property, if you are having any property already defined, so you can assign the property. If column you are going to import, that you can assign. If you are going to import any floor slab, that also you can define. Okay. So that is not much important, and that is not needed to concentrate. Let it to be all. The important thing is what? This thing and story level. At what level? You want to import first, second, third, fourth. 4 levels are there. Story 1. Okay, story 1. This is done. Let's say simply okay. Once you click over this okay, it is asking to save your model. So save this model first. CAD here. I am going to save this model as first. Save this model. Now at this first level, your file is now imported. How smartly you have drawn this line. See, if you are trying to model it manually, tell me how much time will be required. Very easy it is. Okay. But don't go for it when you are using this Etabs software and when you are going to practice with Etabs software first time. There is a more chances if you are going to create your model with this option. Why it is? Because there is no problem with Etabs software. Problem is what? Most of the time we are doing the mistake in CAD. Like suppose I want to break my line here at this point. But see, okay, here it is right. I want to break my line here. But by mistake, what we are doing? We are taking this continuous. And while taking the correct alignment of the line, we are doing the mistake. So if you are doing the mistake in CAD, and if you are coming to these Etabs and preparing your model and going to check your model, and if you are getting the error, so correcting of that error is very, very difficult. There will be the more challenge to correct that errors. But if you are going to practice with the Etabs template option, so there will be very least chances of modeling error. So you are asking how to correct the errors from the CAD if you are doing the mistake. So you have to find that where you did the error. Okay, suppose I have exported the drawing and I'm coming to this Etabs. Now if I'm checking what, like suppose I want to have this line to be breaked at this point. Okay. So I need to come back to CAD, then I have to correct it. So you can understand every time you will come to this CAD. So if you are correcting this error in the or these changes in CAD, so again you need to import in Etabs software. So tell me how many times you are going to do this again and again. So this is the way, but this is not the end. I have imported this file in this Etabs software. So I need to check whether the imported file is right or wrong. Now see, it is what 3.34 meter. I need to go to your Etabs and go to draw dimension line. Now close it. This is the first point. Freely move to this point. It is what 3.34. This is how much? 3.3435 meter. Clear? So we can ensure that our imported file is right. We can proceed for the later steps. Okay. So this is the way how you can import the file in the Etabs software from the CAD. So this is the method of export and import method to have the grid lines or reference line in the Etabs software.